impression of the hardware basis, which is necessary, of course, to play all this content which we are talking about. And as you can see in the following 15 minutes, Germany is a quite conservative market, but a very exciting market. It is a lot of things which happened during the last years. And so I tried in a press conference during the IFA to give you an impression what happens in the last, let's say, 40 years. We had a lot of time for the first trend, which was very important for the consumer electronics, the digitalization, which now is finished by the year of 2010. Now over 95% of the consumer electronic hardware products are digital products in the meantime. That means only a very small rest, which is a small piece of analog turntables and loudspeakers, of course, they will always be analog. And now when digitalization is come to the end, the convergence and the opportunities of convergence comes to its full potential. And what we have at the same time now is that nearly everything is going online. This trend began a few years ago in about 2007, even with video content, and I think it will be finished in about 2017, which is the time of 10 years. And which makes everything so exciting is that we have a third trend at the same time now, which now begins, is the trend of virtualization. That means we believe that in about the next 10 years, probably a lot of electronic devices will disappear and they move to the internet. Functionality moves to the internet. The best example is a smartphone today. When you bought a mobile phone about, let's say, 5 years ago, the functionality was finished when you bought it. You couldn't change anything. Your functionality was implemented in that time or that moment when you bought it. Now you buy nearly an empty device and you fill it up with content, you fill it up with functionality, you buy functionality, and I think the same thing will happen with any other device, even with a TV in the near future, and already happens. But this process we call virtualization. That means that it's a big problem for a lot of members of us, that they probably lose business during the next years, but it will move to the internet business, probably. To underline this trend, I talked to the GfK, the German market research company, and we tried to find out how many products are connectable right now in the year 2010, and what is the trend to 2011. And we found out that nearly 59 or nearly 60% of the turnover to German consumers with electronic devices consists of connectable devices. This is a big piece of this pie, and it's still growing, and we expect another growth for about 30% by the next year. And that means that this market, the connectable product market, is even bigger than the traditional consumer electronic markets altogether, because it includes PCs, notebooks, tablet PCs, and everything. One best example how the market changed is now the connected TV. As far as probably you know, connected TV starts to be delivered by 2009, and that year we sold about 800,000 connected TVs, and this year, 2011, we will sell about 3 million connected TVs in Germany. And that means that the turnover with connected TV in 2011 is bigger than the turnover in non-connected TVs. And we think that at the moment, right now, during the IFA, every second sold TV in Germany is connectable, and it will we will have more than 25% of the households be connected by the end of 2012, which is a very, very fast development. Today, the market share, or the percentage of households who have connected TVs is quite small. It's about 12%, and it will double within the next year, I think. But the market share, or the household share of households with desktop PCs and notebooks is almost 50%. And nearly 50% of the household have MP3 players and nearly 30% smartphones. And these shares are rapidly increasing and will have nearly the same importance as the TV market itself. And what we did next was to ask about 1,000 German consumers about their needs and about their what they're doing with their products and how they hear music, how they're watching television. And we found out that about 30% of the Germans watches TV with a desktop computer or notebook, and about 11% or 10% with a tablet, PC or smartphone already. I think this is a quite interesting development. And listening music is the same thing nearly. Radio, of course, the traditional radio is the most important device to hear music until right now, but about 30% listen to music with MP3 players and notebooks. And these figures might be very small, as you know, but there's a big difference between young people and elderly people. And the difference is that nearly 100% of the young people under 25 listen to their music via an MP3 player or smartphone, and the people over 60 is nearly 0%. And so it's the explanation why it's still only to 33% who listen to the MP3 players. But the future, of course, is digital, and the future is listening digital music from any digital device. The young people don't care which device it is. In fact, it can be a smartphone as well as an MP3 player, as well as a radio or whatever. We found out that there's a certain difference when we asked the people on which device they consume more than 1 hour per day television. And there you can see that television is very high rated on number 1, and then the second place is notebook and desktop PCs, which only is less than 10%. So you can see that still right now, most people look longer formats like TV shows. They still prefer, of course, the traditional television. And the same thing is with audio devices. Radio and classical home stereo is the most preferred device for long-term consumption to listening to music. And MP3 player and desktop computer and everything else is more or less for only small consumption, short-time consumption still in Germany. But there, of course, is a big difference, as I said, between young people and older people. And it's the percentage of people who listen music from the MP3 player longer from the traditional radio is still increasing, and it's very fast increasing. Because it's very important, we asked the people what kind of apps they already downloaded for their iPads or smartphones or whatever. And the most relevant app is daily newspapers and magazines, which prefer about 32% of the German consumers who have an iPad or smartphone. And TV apps are on, from the media consumption on place number 2, as well as radio apps with about 15 to 20%. And what about online TV? We I always hear that the people just want to have lean-back television, they don't want to have online television. I think this is not true, and there's a big gap between young people and old people, of course. You're older, the more lean-back, I think, but in fact, overall, about 25% of the people really want online TV as the TV of the future. They now know what online TV means. They know that it means on-demand services, see everything what you want at the time you want, and it is about 23%. And the percentage of the customers who said that about 3 years ago was less than 8%. So you can see that online TV is already in the mindset of the consumer. What is not so important is 3D. Only 9% of the people think that 3D is the television of the future. We were slightly surprised about this, but it is, I think, probably because of the shortness of the content in television and Blu-ray players. It might change within the next years, I think, quite rapidly. Okay, this is my short overview about the German consumer market in devices and wishes, and if you have any questions, we can answer them right now or later on if you want. And thank you very much for your attention.